Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to what's making news, let's take a quick look outside our weather window from this afternoon. And of course, this is the burn scar left over from the Rooster Comb fire that happened yesterday afternoon south of Wenatchee. And you can see where that fire went over the hilltops a couple of different directions. Still not quite contained, but all in all, weather-wise today, the firefighters did have to contend with a little bit of wind, and that will continue as we take a look at our forecast tonight. Some more windy conditions, breezy for Tuesday and much cooler. And then we begin a slow warm-up as we get into Friday. By then, our temperatures will be about normal for this time of year in the lower to mid-80s. Lots more weather coming your way a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A small plane crashed at Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort last night. We'll have the details. 2 Washington State firefighters have been killed in the past 4 days while battling wildfires in their districts. And one of 2 men charged in a theft that led to a multi-county car chase in December has pleaded guilty to a far lesser charge. But first, our top story tonight. Evacuation levels were lowered to level 2 this morning for residents in the area of the Rooster Comb fire south of Wenatchee. Kay McKellar of Chelan County Fire District 1 said the fire grew very little overnight, and after an intense air and ground attack, was 10% contained by 8:30 this morning. Since breaking out in the 2300 block of Methouse Street about 5 Sunday evening, the fire has burned 230 acres of grass and sagebrush. About 300 homes were threatened, and level 3 get out now evacuation notices were in place for several areas through the night. The Type 3 Southeast Washington Interagency Incident Management Team is coordinating the firefighting effort after an initial response from local districts and the State Department of Natural Resources. McKellar said no structures have been damaged by the fire and there have been no injuries. State fire assistance was mobilized at 6:45 p.m. last night, and 3 strike teams later arrived to give local fire crews a break. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Well, shortly after the Rooster Comb fire broke out in the South Wenatchee foothills last night, higher up on the mountain, a small plane crashed at Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort. Chelan County Fire District 1 spokeswoman Kay McKellar once again said both people aboard the Cessna 172 flying out of Boeing Field in Seattle were uninjured. The plane crashed in the Bomber Bowl area of the ski resort and was destroyed. The crash was not connected to the wildfire. Meanwhile, 2 Washington State firefighters have been killed in the past 4 days while battling wildfires in their districts, including longtime Colfax Fire Chief Jim Krause. The Whitman County Sheriff's Office said 74-year-old Krause was responding to his 4th fire of the day Saturday about 3 p.m. when he suffered a heart attack and collapsed. He's been the Colfax chief for the past 40 years. Then at about 10 p.m. last Thursday, Spokane County Fire District 9 firefighter Cody Traber was fatally injured when he fell from a bridge while fighting a brush fire. Traber was an 18-year veteran firefighter and leaves behind a wife and 4 young children. Fire districts from throughout the state are now paying tribute to those 2 fallen firefighters. Well, one of 2 men charged in a theft that led to a multi-county car chase back in December has pleaded guilty to a far lesser charge. 32-year-old Emrico Deshawn Flight is now serving 14 months in state prison for second-degree possession of stolen property. He and his fellow defendant, 28-year-old Miles Barry Davis, were arrested December 3rd near Cle-Elum. Wenatchee Valley Police agencies suspected them in a handful of vehicle prowls in city parks and pursued their rented Dodge Caravan from Wenatchee up toward Blewett Pass. State Patrol officers finally stopped the van. Davis, the alleged driver of the van, still faces trial on charges of theft and eluding in both Chelan and Douglas counties. Coming up next, the state is warning school districts they will lose funding if they don't comply with the state mandates regarding mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations and masking. Confluence Health's drive-through COVID test site at Emerson Street, which has operated almost since the pandemic began, was overwhelmed last week. And the Wenatchee Police Department is getting body cams. We'll tell you more about that. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Chiropractic and Integrative Multicare specializes in all level of injury care. If you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, have a sports injury, or a simple fall, call today for a free consultation. They offer a combined multi-care approach with medical, chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and acupuncture. For relief from long-standing injuries to basic solutions for the weekend warrior, Latimer's Chiropractic Integrative Multicare is one stop, one location.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
What you're doing is ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, you might as well throw up a screen door to block the summer smoke.
sometimes it gets
When we
warm.
breathe in the wildfire smoke, we are ingesting hazardous chemicals such as acetic acid and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. A lot of bad stuff, okay?
Well, yeah, that's why we...
Cardboard ain't gonna cut it.
So...
Go to CheyennePUD.org/save today.
Welcome back. And in other news, the state is warning school districts they'll lose funding if they don't comply with state mandates regarding mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations and masking. State Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Reichdahl filed an emergency rule last week that said districts will first be warned that they're not in compliance, and if they remain so, they risk losing money from the state, which distributes about 80% of a district's funding. The state has required that all school employees be vaccinated and that masks be worn on school property. At last week's Wenatchee School Board meeting, about 50 people were in attendance who refused to wear masks in violation of the state's indoor masking mandate. After giving the crowd a chance to leave or wear masks, the board adjourned and held the rest of the meeting online. Well, as COVID-19 infections have risen in the Wenatchee Valley, so has the demand for testing. Confluence Health's drive-through test site at Emerson Street, which has operated almost since the pandemic began, was overwhelmed last week. Mayor Frank Kuntz says traffic officers had to block off public parking on part of Emerson to stage overflow vehicles, and more traffic alterations may be necessary while demand remains high. Testing hours for the drive-through site at 615 North Emerson are 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to noon on weekends. Well, police officers in the city of Wenatchee will soon be outfitted with body cameras as part of their uniforms. The Wenatchee City Council last week approved a $281,000 contract for 44 cameras and support software. Half the cost will be paid by the state, which requires some police interactions to be recorded as part of its new reform laws. The camera vendor, WatchGuard, already provides the Wenatchee Police Department's dashboard cameras. But Chief Steve Crown says up to now, body cameras haven't been part of Wenatchee policing.
We're not just getting cameras. The software package that comes with this is pretty robust. It will actually allow us to set up a similar to Crime Stoppers, where you have anonymous tips that can come in. There's also the ability to map out throughout the entire city where cameras are that are not owned by the city. You can actually go through the software and see where these registered cameras are and be able to do your canvas based off of that information and try and get different camera angles and additional evidence. There's two bills that were in the last legislative package that requires recordation for felons as well as juvenile suspects. So this will allow us to meet that standard as well. And that standard needs to be addressed January 1st of 2022, which is when we plan to have these cameras in full operation.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
I'm Jared Sessler, your Republican candidate for Congress. When I drove NASCAR, fair competition was everything. But it isn't possible if someone is cheating or if illegal players are allowed on a team. In NASCAR, COT meant the car of tomorrow. But today, CRT forces the America we know and love to run with weights around its ankles. I'll fight for the common sense that we need in DC. Go to jaredsessler.com to learn more. I'm Jared Sessler, and I approve this message.
Your search for quality patio furniture with excellent customer service is over. Blue Lagoon is proud to offer only the finest outdoor furniture and accessories from some of the most renowned manufacturers in the industry. Our showroom showcases a large selection of in-stock furniture, fire pits, umbrellas, cushions, and outdoor accessories. Our in-house outdoor decor specialist is available to help you design and custom order the perfect furniture for your unique space.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, the last time Central Washington Hospital had no COVID-19 patients in its isolation rooms was June 16th. That lasted just 2 hours. In a media briefing today with the Washington State Hospital Association, Dr. Mark Johnson, infectious disease specialist with Confluence Health, said the Delta variant has changed the game, and now the local health system is suffering under the renewed weight of the pandemic.
We had anywhere between 5 to 8 COVID patients admitted to our hospital in late June, heading into early July. But then over the last 3 weeks, we've had 30 or more severely ill COVID patients admitted to our hospital, and currently that number is closer to 40. And the vast majority of patients admitted with severe COVID are unvaccinated. So as of the 23rd of last week, we had 37 patients with severe COVID admitted to hospital. 14 were considered in critical condition. None of our critically ill patients were vaccinated. So in other words, we're seeing very sick, unvaccinated persons. But what's also interesting is the age range. So that age range was anywhere at that point between 23 and 86 of all our severe COVIDs admitted to hospital. But amongst those 14 critically ill patients, more than 40% of them were age 40 or younger. And in the last week, we have had 2 third trimester unvaccinated pregnant persons admitted to hospital with severe COVID who had to undergo emergency C-section. So this is very telling data. This reminds us again that COVID-19 is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And we know that people who are vaccinated are still going to get COVID. This Delta variant is just so infectious. So we know we're going to see breakthrough cases, and we are. I just told you that 16% of all our positive results through our drive-through testing site last week were vaccinated. But most of these patients are ending up in the hospital. And we just know this. This is largely a vaccine preventable disease. So although we've made a lot of progress, we're just seeing a profound number of unvaccinated persons admitted. Today in our hospital, we do have one critically ill, fully vaccinated COVID patient. They're in their late 50s, and they're very immune compromised. So we're going to keep seeing that particular subset of patients, and we are. But the vast majority, again, of these hospitalized severely ill patients are unvaccinated. And the vast majority of them are expressing supreme and profound remorse when they find out how terrible this disease is. Our staff are incredibly exhausted. We have critical staffing shortages. We intermittently are not able to accept transfers. Bed space is at a premium. We've, of course, curtailed elective cases. The health care system is really struggling as a result of this. So, right now, 24% of our inpatients have COVID. This is untenable.
Switching gears now, let's take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great weekend. Boy, it was a beautiful one, wasn't it? With temperatures lower to mid 80s both Saturday and Sunday. Just fantastic Saturday. Got to play in a golf tournament at Lake Chelan Municipal Golf Course. Very, very nice, and had a great time up there. And today a little bit of haze as we look up north to our friends. This is Brewster, or Pateras and Brewster in your shot. And still a little bit of haze up there, but most of that from fires that are going out. The Cub Creek fire also up that way. So we all saw a little bit of that over the weekend too. But as far as temperatures today, almost where we should be for this time of year. 82 unofficially our high today. 83 is normal. Our overnight low temperature right in the ballpark too, 59 and 58. Record high in that very hot year of 1998, 97 degrees. Record low was in 1965 at 45 degrees. Sunrise now is at 6:18 and the sun sets tonight for us at 7:44. Let's take a look at your Tuesday weather forecast. And I'll tell you what, cold fronts moved through, I should say, late this afternoon, and that will bring much cooler temperatures. Check this out for our Tuesday. 74 in Ephrata and Moses Lake, 73 in Quincy, 72 is all for the high in Wenatchee tomorrow, and we're going to see a lot of those low 70s all the way up Highway 97. Omak, you too, will be one of our warm spots at 74 degrees. So boy, if you like that cool weather, you're going to love tomorrow. Tonight we can expect mostly clear skies. Could still see some breezy conditions out there. We could see gusts around 25 miles an hour tonight. Not too much cloudiness though. Most of that should be back into the Cascades. As we get you to Tuesday, lots of sunshine, and yes, we're going to see some of those breezy winds tomorrow. So with temperatures only around 70, might even feel a little bit cool at times for Tuesday. As we get to Wednesday and midweek, things will begin to change a little bit. You can see high pressure right here and a ridge beginning to build, and that will continue on Wednesday with some warmer temperatures, highs in the mid 70 Wednesday. So we'll still be below normal. I think about normal for Thursday with sunshine, hardly any wind for Thursday. It's going to be a beauty with high temperatures around 80 degrees. You can see high pressure now is anchored up in southern British Columbia. For Friday, this is where the real warm-up comes into play. We'll see warmer temperatures with highs in the lower to mid 80s all over central and eastern Washington, and that will continue for us. Perfect timing into our Labor Day weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny and mild with highs again in the low to mid 80s. For Sunday, not much is going to change. We're going to see mostly sunny skies. We will see mild conditions once again on Sunday with highs in the lower 80s, and we will talk much more about your Labor Day Monday when we get together tomorrow. Take a look now at your 7-day forecast. Tonight, we will drop down to 55 degrees, sunny and breezy tomorrow, 72. Look at that low, 50 degrees, one of the cooler nights we've had in a while, 76 on Saturday, and there's that warm up as we get into the weekend. 84 on Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny then as we end the weekend on Sunday with a high temperature then of 83 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Counterplay inside, picking his way back to the 10, to the 5, into... High school sports is back, and NCWLIFE Channel's got you covered. Tune in for football, girls soccer, and volleyball right here. Thanks to our sponsors, Charter College, Confluence Health, Diggs Heating and Air Conditioning, and Global Car Care. Follow all the action of high school sports on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE Channel. 14, they come back.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper. I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday to you. After getting through a shortened season last spring amid COVID concerns, the Wenatchee football team's season has already taken a hit before it even begins this fall. Wenatchee Athletic Director Jim Beeson announced last night that the Panthers' opening game scheduled for Friday with Skyline has been canceled because of COVID exposure. In an email to staff last night, Beeson said, quote, "We have had 2 COVID exposure cases with our football team, and as a result, our Week 1 games have been canceled due to our kids not being able to get enough practices. We are working with our school nurses and the Department of Health to make sure we are following the DOH protocols," end quote. Now, football players are required to have 12 practices in before playing a game. Beeson said even if the game had been moved to Saturday, it would not have allowed enough practice time. Wenatchee's first varsity game will now be against Mount Baker at home on Saturday, September 11th at 6 p.m. Well, the Mariners salvaged the final game of its 4-game homestand against Kansas City Sunday with a 4-3 nail-biter win. Marco Gonzalez pitched wonderfully over 7 innings, allowing 2 solo home runs to earn his 6th win of the season. But it wouldn't be easy. Salvador Perez continued to be a one-man wrecking crew for the Royals, hitting his 4th home run in consecutive days to tie the game in the top of the 6th.
Bob Oliver, and right on cue, Salvador Perez hits it off the facing of the upper deck. So make it 8 home runs and 15 RBIs on this trip.
That guy's been something else. Jared Kelenic would give Seattle the lead back in the bottom of the inning.
Pulled around to the right on the 1-2 pitch. High fly ball, deep right field. It's got a chance. Giddy up! Gone! Mariners lead it 2-1 on a home run by Jared Kelenic, his 7th of the season. Boy, did they need that on a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, but the back-and-forth contest, Kansas City got the lead back in the 7th on a Michael A. Taylor solo homer, but Kyle Seager set a personal milestone to give the M's the lead for good.
Did he get enough? Let it ride! Let it ride! Bye-bye! Kyle Seager, home run number 31, a career best, and the Mariners have the lead back.
Well, here you go. He gets a pitch to his liking, and it's the changeup. Stays on it and drives it out to right center field. A career-high 31 home runs. He leads the club with 85 RBIs, so a real chance for him to drive in 100 this year for the first time in his career.
Well, that came at the bottom of the 7th, so it was time for the bullpen to hold on. Paul Sewald made a mistake to Perez in the 8th, allowing an RBI double, but Kyle Steckenrider came through with some help to get the final 3 outs.
Trying to get the leadoff man here. 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball, Ty France. Steckenrider is there in time. 1 out.
That is well done right there.
The 0-1. Bowers coming in. Makes the grab again. Jake Bowers having a day in left field. Here we go. 3-2. Took something off. Ground ball. Toro. And that's your ball game. Mariners win it by the count of 4-3 to salvage a game in this series against the Kansas City Royals. Kyle Seager, your hero, 2-run homer, 7th inning, career best number 31 for him. And now the Mariners, they'll enjoy this one, celebrate it, and then welcome into Houston Astros for the next 3 days.
As Dave Sims mentioned there, Seattle welcomes Houston into town for the first of 3 games at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 7:10 tonight. Chris Flexen facing Luis Garcia. Another American League West action Sunday. Adolis Garcia's grand slam home run highlighted an 8-run 5th inning for Texas as the Rangers slammed Houston 13-2. Tony Kemp's 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th was the difference for Oakland as the A's top the Yankees 3-1. Mariners lost ground in the wild card race by falling to Kansas City in 3 out of 4 games over the weekend and now trail by 4.5 games. Everybody who's chasing Boston got some help from Cleveland as the Indians scored 3 in the 8th to beat the Red Sox 7-5. Jose Barrios struck out 11 over 7 innings, leading Toronto past Detroit 2-1. New York still claims the top wildcard spot while Boston holds the 2nd spot. The A's are 2.5 back. Seattle sits a game in front of the Blue Jays as they head into the series with Houston. Well, the Seahawks finished the preseason on a positive note Saturday, that is, with a 27-0 win over the Chargers at Lumen Field. Seattle scored on a 17-yard fumble recovery by Marquise Blair to start the first quarter, added a couple of field goals, a touchdown run by Alex Collins, and a touchdown pass from Sean Mannion to Derice Roberson to get the win. Seahawks defense also turned in 5 sacks, including a 1.5 by Dariel Taylor. Coach Pete Carroll certainly happy about the game. Seahawks are off until a week from Sunday when they'll start the regular season in Indianapolis against the Colts. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Join me for a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, the last day of August 2021. And as Grant mentioned, we're in for a pretty cool weather pattern. It's going to feel very autumnal-like before the sunshine and the warm temperatures resume just in time for the Labor Day weekend. We'll have your latest weather forecast, whatever news happens to develop throughout the course of the day and overnight into Tuesday morning. We'll have that for you as well, plus the latest sports and everything else you need to start the last day of August. Is it me or is the year just flying by? We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We are live and local with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night. Do you have a fun or interesting video you'd like to see featured here on the NCW Life channel? It's easy. All you have to do is send us an email at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
Counterplay inside, picking his way back to the 10, to the 5. High school sports is back, and NCW Life Channel's got you covered. Tune in for football, girls soccer, and volleyball right here. Thanks to our sponsors, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Rivercom 911, and Sangster Motors. Follow all the action of high school sports on your local TV station, the NCW Life Channel. 14, they come back. The NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows.